Hello, guys. So, as promised, okay, I'm going to talk about composition versus writing. And just in case, I remind you that my computer only allows me to record 5 minutes, okay? So I may have a second part of this video. Okay, so there we are. Usually, um, the general thought that people have towards writing is that we just collocate all the words that we say, okay, but written. I mean, just something like this. Okay, we have two wonderful ladies, they are talking, and this is what most people think when they are talking about writing. Okay, we just collocate the words that we say in paper or with the symbols that we call letters and form words, right? But writing has a deeper process. Okay, some characteristics of written language are permanency. Okay, so for example, when we speak, the word we say, when they are not recorded, of course, okay, they just disappear. We cannot see them again, and we only have left the memory of the things that we said and the interpretation that people heard about the things that we said. Okay, but when we are talking about writing, okay, these words are going to stay longer. Okay, whether because we have them in paper, in the computer, in a social network, it stays. Okay, besides we have this processing time, okay, where we have the time to write something and we can think about it and we can decide if we want to keep it that way, okay, or if we want to modify it, the structure, the vocabulary, to process everything and to decide if it stays that way or not. Meanwhile, in spoken language, we don't really have that time to process what we said is said. And in distance, well, physical and temporal distance, we have to take into consideration that most of the things that are written are not written in the same place and the same time that where you read them. Okay, so in order to have a proper interpretation of this, it is important to take into consideration where they were written and when they were written. Okay, for example, in order to understand better a book, okay, you better have an idea of what was the historical context in which it was written. Okay, another important characteristic is orthography. Okay, this comes with punctuation as well, because in written language, okay, if we don't use them properly, we're going to have a lot of problems with communication. Okay, an example of it is the use of WhatsApp to communicate. That most of the time we write the way we speak. Therefore, people do not understand exactly the message that we intend to transmit, and we have these miscommunication problems. Okay, however, if orthography and punctuation and the other rules are followed, okay, written language is going to be properly understood. Okay, the same with vocabulary. The vocabulary and complexity, it can vary a little bit. Okay, we can also have complex language when we're speaking. Okay, but in vocabulary, okay, we have the time as well to process and analyze. And finally, formality. Okay, usually written language is more formal. Okay, it's always more formal to write something than to say it. Okay, so those are some characteristics of the written language. But however, when we're talking about composition or composing, okay, we're trying to go beyond that. Okay, that involves a whole process. Okay, a process